Okay, thank you so much for this. So now we get going. Uh, the topic of the webinar today is convert your rooftop into a vibrant organic farm. This subject is very close to our heart. It will be presented by me. My name is Major Ved Prakash Sharma, and I'll introduce myself in a minute. And by Mr. Pratik Tiwari, who is the CEO of Living Greens and a partner. We can go to the next slide, please. So, very quick introduction to Gratitude Farms. We are an agri-tech startup based out of Pondicherry, and we have been founded by 2 military officers and 3 people from Cisco, where I had occasion to work for 7 years. We are a social impact enterprise that works towards livelihood and entrepreneurship opportunities, particularly for ex-soldiers. I've served in Indian Army for 16 years, and so as my co-founder is a retired brigadier, served more than 30 years. Not many people know the difficulties that retired soldiers go through in settling down in the life after Army. And many of them are just about 40, 45 years of age when they leave Army. That's the time when their families are growing, the economic needs are high, and the salary is half. And in these fast changing times of the world, they find it very difficult to find a dignified livelihood. After a lot of, you can say, deliberation, meeting thousands of them, we converged on organic farming as an instrument. Organic farming, as I think all of you will agree, is the need of the hour. It's no more a luxury or an option. The world has to move more and more towards organic produce. And with that in mind, we learned about organic farming. None of us in our core group were having an organic farming background, but we have been extremely fortunate to have been trained over the last 3 years by some of the finest organic farmers in the country. And believe me, you may not be aware, but there is a phenomenal amount of work that is happening in organic movement across the country. And this is coexisting simultaneous to the fact that there's a lot of myth and ignorance about this field. This country was organic 70 years back. There were no chemicals. But something happened after the Green Revolution where there was a need for improving the yield, and hence all the, you can say, chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers were promoted. But somewhere along the line, we tilted too much to the far. And as a result, today, I think all of you are aware, the way land is getting burnt, the negative effects of excessive use of organic, of non-organic stuff. So just give me a moment, please. Just give me a moment. Hold on, please. Sorry for the interruption. So we set our objective to train and develop 5,000 ex-soldiers and rural youth and women along with them for organic farming. Next slide, please. So the problem that we are trying to solve through gratitude farming is livelihood of ex-servicemen and low profitability of small and marginal farmers in organic farming. But above and away, as we work more and more in organic farming, we came across a deeper goal, which I could not have spoken about maybe last year at the same time. But today we can say that every acre of land that we convert to organic farming is a service to Mother Earth. That is what many people in technical jargon would call a superordinate goal that is emerging for us. And we are very grateful to be in this field for this purpose. We have recently been selected by World Resources Institute for their Land Accelerator program, in which they are promoting all companies which are undertaking efforts to improve, or rather move the land towards natural systems. Next slide, please. Now, what is it that Gratitude Farm does? It does a very simple thing. On one hand, you have a small and marginal farmer, and it'll sound slightly surprising for you to know that even if you're a good farmer, the real problem you have is outside the farm. And that is, where do I sell my produce to get good value? It is particularly applicable for organic farmers. And on the other side, you and me, like urban consumers, we have got family doctors, family lawyers, family wealth advisor, but we don't know who our family farmer is. Now the time has come, and Corona situation today is, I think, highlighting that awareness that we need to be more careful about where our food is coming from. It has to be from a trustworthy source. We have to take control of where it is coming from. If you just click once, please. That is the work that our Gratitude Farm has undertaken. So on the production side, we are converting land to organic, training retired soldiers as farmers, and taking the produce of these farmers to the urban consumers. We have an e-commerce platform and a WhatsApp. We're currently working in Pondicherry, Chennai, and Tiruvannamalai with plans to reach out to other big southern cities of Bangalore and Hyderabad in coming months. Next slide, please. We have got 4 major verticals: organic farmland development, direct to home sales of organic vegetables, rooftop organic farming, which is the subject of today. And we also undertake a lot of trainings for both short-term trainings for people who are interested in introduction, and also 15-day trainings for converting the farmers. Next slide, please. So with this, I'm now going to hand you over to Pratik Tiwari with just one observation which is hidden in plain sight, but we often ignore. You just need to question yourself: do you have more electronic gadgets than plants in your home? If the answer is yes, I think it's time to rethink. With this, over to Pratik for his expert commentary on urban organic farming.
Thank you, sir. Morning, everyone. My name is Pratik Tiwari. I'm the founder and CEO of Living Greens. I'm an agriculture engineer by education. I'm a pass out of the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. And I've had the privilege of working with some blue chip agri companies like Mahindra, ITC, Reliance Fresh, and finally I was working for the Walmart. In the year 2011, there were 2 very strong thoughts that inspired me to leave my corporate career and to start Living Greens. The first thought was that I had been observing that as the cities are growing bigger and bigger, we are replacing lush green farms with concrete jungles. And I felt that there is a dire need to take the clock back. We have to stop this maddening process. And the only way we could do that is by bringing the farms back onto the concrete jungles. And the second thought was, and it was an observation based on my almost 11 years in the agribusiness sector, I have observed that there is a huge misconception that all of us are living with. We feel that farmers are doing chemical farming, but let me shock you here. Every farmer is organic, but he is organic only for his family. When the farmer grows for a faceless customer, he goes commercial and he grows commercial. And that's when chemical farming enters the picture and destroys everything. It destroys the farmer's farmland, it destroys our health as consumers. And I felt that the time had come when we had to take things in our hand. And with these inspiration, I started Living Greens in the year 2013. When I started, this was the most apparent question that was in front of every customer. And the irony is that the difference in the toxicity of these 2 things is actually reducing by the day. The tomato is becoming as poisonous as the poison filled in that bottle. Adding to that problem is the fact that as urbanization spreads like an amoeba or like an octopus, the growers which were initially growing vegetables in the vicinity of the city have either moved away from the city or they have a new option. They can still continue to grow vegetables, but since the groundwater has been dissipated, they would now have to use the free flowing sewage water. And the bad news about the sewage water is that it is laced with heavy metals which come as a part of the industrial effluents. Let's not get shocked if we are eating that kind of a food. Let's not get shocked by the fact that our children are suffering from allergies, neurological disorders, stomach problems, and even cancer at a very early age. Adding to this picture is the fact that our rooftops are lying barren, vacant, they are lying exposed to the sun, and they are contributing to 65% of the heating up of the building. Corona has added a whole new perspective to this picture. Each one of us has now realized that we have to live with not just Corona, but there could be similar problems that could occur because the fabric of nature has been completely broken down. During these 2.5, 3 months of lockdown, an inevitable truth has been written on the wall. Immunity is life-saving. It's far more important to build your immunity than building your bank balance. All that money lying in your bank is not going to help you fight problems like Corona. Not just fight, but to live with them and to live with them successfully. And how do we build immunity? We build immunity by eating fresh and safe food. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not run away from this simple fact that immunity hinges very heavily on what we eat. And eating fresh and safe food is the cornerstone of building strong immunity. Not only that, it's now extremely important that our lungs consume pure air, which is saturated with oxygen. And that's what the plants give you when you grow them for growing vegetables. That is all the more important that growing vegetables at your home should be done. And if you want to build immunity, you have to exercise daily. A lot of us were depending very heavily on gyms. And the lockdown was a real bad news for us. But let it be treated as a revelation. During the lockdown, I stopped going to the gym, but I started working on my rooftop farm. And I can tell you one thing, it's a much better exercise. It's a much better exercise to get down on your knees, dirty your hands, enjoy the process of growing your own food. And that also in an environment which is suffused with fresh oxygen, which our vegetable plants have provided during the process of photosynthesis. And when we are growing our vegetables on the rooftop or anywhere else in our house, please remember, we are getting a bonus. The sunlight is bringing vitamin D into our bodies. Have you ever realized how cocooned our lives have become? We live from a room to a room to a car to a room. That's what our life has become. We are talking about immunity. Look at what vitamin D does. It helps you fight diseases. It helps you fight depression. It strengthens your bones. It fights cardiovascular diseases. And it significantly reduces the risk of cancer and type 2 diabetes. How much does it cost? Zilch, zero, nothing. Just get yourself outdoor with your plants and you'll get this bonus free of cost. During these 3 months of lockdown, we at Living Greens we have been inundated with calls from across the country. You name it, every city, people living in every city have connected with us, and everybody has got one simple thought. It's about time. I want to grow my own food. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have free rooftop space available, I can tell you that you're luckier than many billionaires and millionaires living in large cities like Bombay or Delhi or Bangalore, who might be living in swanky flats, but those poor souls do not have the space to grow their own vegetables. And just in case you're living in a flat, do not treat it as the end of the road. Think innovatively. Look around you. You will see a government school, a dilapidated building. You will see a government hospital, derelict. You will see any other, maybe a government office. Look at the rooftop of that building. It's vacant, it's barren, and it can be used. So people living in flats, I have a message for you. Stop thinking that you're unlucky and you don't have rooftop space. Get together and start doing community farming on the rooftops of those large buildings which are just lying vacant. But please carry this message in your head that it's time to grow your own food. And that is the message that Living Greens has been giving to the world since March 2013. 7 years and not a syllable from that message has changed. When I founded Living Greens, that was the message to the world. Till today, that is a message that continues to be conveyed to the world. We are completely committed as a company, as a team, with eminent partners like Major VP Sharma sir, to spread this message and to enable. We don't just want to spread the message, we genuinely want to enable each one of you who would like to grow their safe and fresh vegetables on the rooftop or anywhere else in the house. So now let me switch over. Now let me offer some general information. Let's leave Living Greens behind and let's move on to a different channel. This part of my presentation, in this part of my presentation, I shall be sharing very general information with each one of you such that you are able to start growing your own vegetables. So the first thing is you have to pick the right location. Now, pick a location where you have at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. Please remember two things: 6 hours of direct sunlight per day, every day, 12 months of the year, 365 days of the year. Remember, without sunlight, there is no photosynthesis, the plants are going to die. The other thing is, if you wish to grow vegetables in a plot next to your house or in the kitchen garden inside your house, please make sure that there are no tall buildings or tall walls which are throwing a shade on your vegetables. Shade is poison for the vegetable plants. Another important thing that you need to keep in mind, that wherever you're growing your vegetables, if there are bushes, shady bushes growing close to your vegetable plants, let me remind you that those bushes will have a very, very high population of insects. And please remember, insects are also carriers of diseases. So those insects are going to feast upon your vegetable plants, and hence you have to be extremely careful that you put your vegetable plants a little distance away from bushes. Also, if you want to grow vegetables on ground, please make sure that there are no depressions in the ground so that there are no puddles that get created. Please remember that drainage of excess water is extremely important. Vegetable plants are very, very susceptible to fungal infections, what we call root rot and stem rot, and hence drainage of excess water is extremely important. So those are a few important tips that I would like to share with you regarding picking the right location. Now let's move on to what kind of a container we should be buying from the market. There are these 4 criteria that I have displayed on the screen. And so let's go one by one. the depth of the container is very important. It's a very important criteria. If you pick up, so the optimal depth should be about 7 inches. If you pick up a container which is too deep, then what's going to happen is there are going to be two problems. One is, as you will continue to apply water to your vegetable plant, the water soluble nutrients will get dissolved in water and will go below the root zone. So in a deep container, typically what happens is that most of the nutrients are actually sitting at the bottom of the container where the roots are not able to reach them. And please do not think that the roots can grow infinitely. The roots also have a capacity to grow. The other problem that you'll face in deep containers is that you would not be able to do deep hoeing properly. Deep hoeing is extremely important to ensure two things. One, circulation of air in the root zone of the plant. And second, the nutrients that have sat at the bottom of the container must be brought on the top by doing deep hoeing. So if you're using a deep container, you will not be able to do deep hoeing. So look for a container which is just about 7 to 10 inches deep. Should definitely be less than 12 inches. As far as growing rooty vegetables are concerned, like carrot, radish, let me share an interesting thing. Radish can grow up to 9 inches even if the container is 7 inches deep. The reason is that the radish has got this unique quality of growing above the surface when it hits the bottom. It's only carrot that you'll get small carrots, which will be 6 inches long. But the taste would be awesome. The second criteria is that when you go and buy a container, please make sure that it is protected from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. If you keep a container which is not ultraviolet rays protected, it's going to become brittle and it's going to break like your papadum. The third criteria is subsurface drainage. Please look for a container which has multiple drainage holes. If a container has single drainage holes, it's going to get choked very fast. So please look for a container, a pot which has got multiple holes at the bottom. The shape of the container is equally important. If you are going for an earthen pot, which is conical in shape, you have definitely made a bad choice. A conical container has got a very typical problem. I'm sure most of you who have been using earthen containers, clay pots, which are conical in shape, most of you would have heard from your gardener that the repotting of that pot is required. Repotting is required because in a conical shape, as you irrigate the plant, as you apply water to the plant, due to the conical shape, the compaction of the soil increases at the bottom, which means that the soil at the bottom, due to the weight, due to the sliding weight of the entire soil, it gets compacted at the bottom to such an extent that the plant roots cannot penetrate it, and hence the development of the plant roots is inhibited. And that is the reason why your gardener will say it has to be repotted. So please pick up containers which are non-conical in shape. It could be circular, it could be rectangular. Now, once we have chosen the right container, we need to think about creating a good potting mix. Now, a lot of people ask me, can I use soil? Well, technically speaking, I would suggest not to use soil because soil comes with certain inherent problems. It may have termite eggs, it may have worms, which are called nematodes, and they will cause problem in the roots of your plants. Soil, unless the history of the soil is known, you might actually be bringing a chemically laced soil in your house. So because of those problems, I generally recommend that you should go for creating your own potting mix. Now I'll teach you how to create a good potting mix. The first component of a good potting mix is coco peat. Now, You may go to a nursery, and when you go to the nursery, that person tells you that I have got two qualities of coco peat. I have low EC coco peat. EC stands for electrical conductivity. So he might say, well, I have low EC coco peat, which is costing more, and I have high EC coco peat, which is costing less. But high EC coco peat is inferior quality, and low EC coco peat is better quality. As far as I'm concerned, I consider that to be a lot of sales humbug, because generally sellers mix the two and charge you for the higher quality, which means that even if you have picked up low EC coco peat, the better quality coco peat, you can never be sure whether the inferior quality has been mixed in it, because visually it is impossible to distinguish these two qualities. Hence, I would recommend that you pick up any type of coco peat. You can even pick up the inferior quality coco peat, but make sure that you wash it twice. Now, what is the process of washing? Soak the coco peat in water for at least 12 hours. In those 12 hours, the fibers of the coco peat are going to absorb the water and they're going to swell up. So you will, so the visible water will be completely soaked by the coco peat fibers. After 12 hours, add more water and physically and vigorously wash the coco peat and drain away that water. Then once again, add more water, add extra water, once again vigorously wash that coco peat and drain that water. Now, why are we doing this? This is because coco peat has high concentration of sodium salts. That means coco peat is saline, and a saline medium will kill the plant. Hence, it's very important to wash the coco peat twice, and that is the reason why I have suggested you should not waste your money in getting superior quality of coco peat for which the nursery guy has said that you don't need to wash it. I would recommend take the inferior quality but wash it twice. You'll get the superior quality after 2 washings. Now, what does coco peat do? Coco peat, please, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, coco peat has absolutely 0 nutrients. The nutrient profile of coco peat is 0. Coco peat has not been added with an intention of offering nutrients to the plants. So if anybody tells you that I am growing my plants in coco peat, he is definitely not stating a fact. Now, coco peat has been added only to ensure the porosity of the potting mix. The other component is organic manure. Now, why do we add organic manure? Because we need to add organic carbon to our potting mix. What does organic carbon do? Organic carbon acts as a food for the microbial cultures. At the same time, organic carbon also acts as a source of humus. What is humus? Humus is that sticky substance that ensures the cohesiveness of the manure. Now, on one hand, we are using coco peat, and on the other hand, we are using something which is highly cohesive. Ladies and gentlemen, that's precisely how nature works. We need to bring a balance between these two. So I recommend a ratio of 60 to 40. That means that add 60% coco peat and 40% organic manure. As a choice of organic manure, you could go for well-decomposed cow dung. When I say well-decomposed, it should be black in color and it should be at least 6 to 7 months old. Please make sure that it doesn't contain too much of mud or soil. You could go for goat manure, difficult to find and even more difficult to decompose. So the best choice that I have come across during these 7 years in organic farming is vermicompost. Vermicompost, if you want to check the quality of vermicompost, and vermicompost is easily available in almost all the nurseries. Vermicompost, good quality vermicompost, if you want to check the quality of vermicompost, I'll tell you a small little test. Take a fistful of vermicompost, spread it in the palm of your hand. If you see particles like tea leaves, tiny particles like tea leaves, then it's good quality vermicompost. The second criteria is that while spreading the fistful of vermicompost on the palm of your hand, If you felt that it was sticking to the palm of your hand, then it is bad quality vermicompost. Then it shows that it contains undecomposed cow dung also. So take vermicompost, which is so loose and you can easily see the particles just like tea leaves. The third component of a good potting mix is solubilizing bacteria. Why do we use solubilizing bacteria? Let me first tell you a big difference between chemical farming and organic farming. In chemical farming, it is the farmer who decides the quantity and the time of supplying the nutrients to the plant. The farmer takes over the function of nature. But in organic farming, it is these microbial bacteria, the microbial cultures, who decide how much food is required by the plant. And how do they do that? These microbial cultures or solubilizing bacteria have a synergistic relationship with the roots of the plant. They pick up sucrose from the roots of the plant, and in return, they go into the potting mix and find those packets of nutrients which are lying stagnant there. They solubilize those packets of nutrients, and that's why they're called solubilizing bacteria. And after solubilizing, they bring those nutrients to the plants. So essentially, in organic farming, the food to the plant is being given by the microbial cultures and not artificially. Please keep this simple fact in your mind. A lot of people, when they do organic farming, they keep coming back to me and saying, when do we put more nutrients into, when do we give more nutrients to the plant? I always tell them the plant has his own solubilizing bacteria who are going to get that food to the plant. So the presence of solubilizing bacteria is extremely important. And when you use chemicals like urea and DAP, you kill those solubilizing bacteria. That is the reason why as Major VP Sharma mentioned in his presentation, that our soils were rich with these bacteria before 1960s, before the Green Revolution. And by the application of chemical fertilizers, these solubilizing bacteria have been completely eliminated. The fourth component of a good potting mix is a pH stabilizer. Now, it's very important that the pH of your potting mix should be close to 7 so that the plant is able to absorb all the nutrients that the solubilizing bacteria are bringing to it. How do we stabilize the pH? One of the best alternatives, one of the best options that I can recommend is wood ash. When I say wood ash, I mean the ash that we get after burning cow dung. You get that in temples, you get that if you're doing yagya in your house, then you're also getting the same wood ash. Use that as a part of your potting mix. And the fifth component of a good potting mix must be a fungus killer. Let me share another interesting trivia with you. I have recommended trichoderma as a fungus killer in your potting mix. You'll be surprised to know that trichoderma itself is a fungus. It's very interesting to observe that in nature, good thing is used to eliminate the bad thing. So trichoderma is a good fungus which eats bad fungus. So we are using a live fungus to fight another live fungus which is detrimental to a plant. So trichoderma is one of the most effective fungus killers that are used in organic farming. And you can get trichoderma easily from any agriculture shop, or you could, there are many companies that are selling trichoderma. You just need a pinch of trichoderma in a pot of potting mix. Now that we have talked about what kind of a container we need to get, how do we create a good potting mix, it's equally important to find out how we can do organic management of pests and diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, your kitchen is a fantastic source of biopesticides, biofungicides, pest repellents. And this is what I have tried to show in this table. Garlic spray is one of the best biofungicides that I have ever used. Garlic contains fungicidal properties. How do you make garlic spray? Take a fistful of garlic, grind it into a paste, add water to it, churn it in your mixer grinder, strain it, and take it into a sprayer, and your garlic spray is ready. Okay, now please remember that garlic spray should be focused only on the leaves of the plant, because we are not using garlic spray to kill any insect. We are using garlic spray to remove fungal spores from the surface of the leaves. And I'm talking particularly about the large leaves of creeper vegetables like bottle gourd, bitter gourd, snake gourd. Now these vegetables have got large leaves, and their leaves are extremely susceptible to fungus. Hence, garlic spray should be targeted on the surface of the leaves of creeper vegetable. Now, since I'm talking about spraying, I would also like to inform you that the right way of spraying is to use a power sprayer, and to ensure that when the spray comes out of the sprayer, it should be like a fine mist. There is no point, there's no intention of washing the leaves with the organic spray. The intention should not be to wash the leaves. Hence, please make sure that you're using a sprayer in which there is a power handle, and make sure that when you're spraying, it is at high power. The second spray is the fresh chili spray. Once again, just like making garlic spray, you can make chili spray. Take a handful of very pungent green chilies, grind them into a paste, add water, churn it, strain it, put it in your sprayer, and your fresh chili spray is ready. Now, in this spray, there is a very potent alkaloid which is called capsaicin. This alkaloid, capsaicin, is the same thing that you get in the pepper spray, which is used by a lot of people as a they carry pepper spray when they're traveling, particularly ladies and girls. Now, the same skin irritating thing is called capsaicin, and it also irritates the skin of the insects. So fresh chili spray is done to ward away the insects. Now, where should you spray this fresh chili spray? Please remember that the fresh chili spray must be done at two specific locations. One is under the leaves where the pests are hiding. Secondly, wherever you have grown plants which have grown in such a manner that they have created a dense canopy, that is where the maximum population of insects are hiding. And that is where you should be regularly using fresh chili spray. And also please remember, do not interchange these sprays. So if you are using fresh chili spray on the surface of the leaves, it's of no use. If you are using garlic spray to ward off the insects, it's of no use. The third spray is buttermilk and turmeric spray. Ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised to know that this spray has been mentioned in the Vedic texts related to agriculture. This spray does something wonderful. It increases the immunity of the plant against virus attacks. You would have seen the curling of leaves in chili, capsicum, even bottle gourd leaves, tomato leaves. You know, they wrinkle and they become like, they start shrinking and wrinkling. Now, that has been caused by a virus attack. There are different kinds of viruses. The one that I'm talking about is called a leaf curl virus, which is the most common virus. Buttermilk and turmeric spray is quite effective in increasing the immunity of the plant against such virus attacks. Even a liquid hand wash soap can act as a very potent pest repellent. Just take a teaspoon of liquid hand wash soap in 1 liter of water in your sprayer and at high pressure, spray it under the leaves of the plants. This will act as a pest repellent because when that soap touches the skin of the pest, it breaks the surface of the skin of the pest. So it basically irritates the pest and the pest move away. Another spray that I love to use is the garlic and mint spray because it's a multi-purpose spray. On one hand, garlic will act as a biofungicide, and on the other hand, the aromatic mint will act as a pest repellent. When I do farming on land, and we do a lot of land farming projects, we do a lot of organic farming on land, we specifically grow aromatic plants in an organic farm like lemongrass or mint or even basil. Now these aromatic plants act as very potent pest repellents. The next spray is called the neem kernel spray. You can, instead of grinding the neem kernels, you can directly get neem oil from the market. Neem oil comes at different concentrations, and the concentration of neem oil is measured in ppm, that is parts per million. So there are different ppms, 100 ppm, 300 ppm, 1000 ppm, 1500 ppm. Don't go for 1500 ppm or 1000 ppm. Even 300 ppm of neem oil is good. But ladies and gentlemen, please remember, there's a huge misconception related to neem. Neem does not have killer properties. Neem will not kill any pest, but it does something even better. When neem oil is sticking to a leaf and that leaf has been eaten by a pest, it will have two effects on the pest. The first effect is that the pest will stop eating completely. And the second is that the egg laying property, the egg laying capacity of that pest is completely eliminated, which means that now you have a pest which cannot eat and cannot lay eggs. After that, it's a harmless pest. So we can use these kind of sprays from the kitchen, and I can tell you all of them are very potent and very effective sprays. Now, to apply water to your plants, I would strongly recommend a drip irrigation system for two reasons. One, a drip irrigation system conserves almost 70% of the water as compared to the flood irrigation or when we apply water using a pipe. Water has to be conserved. The second major advantage of the drip irrigation system is that when we are applying water to a plant using a pipe, that jet of water, when it strikes close to the root zone of the plant, it will dislodge the soil or the potting mix close to the roots. And the roots will then get exposed to air and they will get dehydrated. The third problem of irrigating using a pipe, or like you see this picture on the screen, using a shower can. Many of us suffer from this misconception that it is our religious duty to bathe the plant every day. Friends, plants do not require a bath. Plants just require optimal water in the root zone. They do not require a bath. Now, when you are spraying the plant in this way, when you are wetting the leaves of the plant, essentially what you're doing is you are inviting a lot of fungal infections directly on the leaves of the plant. And this is a problem that most of you would have suffered from, particularly when you are bathing the creepers. If the creeper leaves are being wetted at the time of irrigation, those leaves will surely suffer from fungal infections. There are two kinds of fungal infection. One is called powdery mildew and the second is called downy mildew. Your creeper cannot escape it. So please do not think that you have to apply water in such a way that you have to bathe the plant. The plant requires water only at the root zone. Now, the subsurface drainage system, I cannot overemphasize. Please remember, do not use a pot which has got a single drainage hole. And just in case you do have to use such a pot, please put some pieces of bricks or stone at least 3 inches deep, and then you put a cotton cloth on top of it, and then you fill the pot with soil or the potting mix. Please make sure that the soil or the potting mix is not touching that drainage hole. Also remember that if you have this kind of a pot, and if you're putting it on a hard surface, then the drainage of water will never happen. And as you apply water, there's going to be water locking in that pot and your plants are going to die. This is the reason why some of you would have experienced the problem that despite giving water regularly, your plants are not showing the right growth. And that is happening because water is not able to get drained out of this kind of a pot. So my suggestion is, by some method, raise the level of this pot in such a way that water can easily get drained out from that single drainage hole. So we have talked about what kind of a container we should look for, how to create a good potting mix, what are the kind of different organic sprays that we can create in our own kitchen to take care of pests and diseases. We have talked about what is the right way of irrigating the plants. And we have also talked about the significance, the importance of having very, very effective subsurface drainage system. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we started. Pots and pans, very rude, very crude, very rudimentary methods. With very rudimentary methods, we started. 7 years, and Living Greens today stands as the only company in the country which creates portable farming system. And each of those problems that I have cautioned you have already been taken care of in our portable farming system. This is a product which is being used by over 700 customers spread across 20 cities in the country, spanning from Salem, Pondicherry, Chennai to Dehradun in the north and Kolkata in the east to the hot desert district of Bikaner in the west. 700 houses are merrily growing their vegetables using these portable farming system. I love this picture. I love to show this picture, particularly to those who ask me a question: can we grow abundant vegetables on a rooftop? Yes, sir, we can grow abundant quantity of vegetables on a rooftop. This picture proves it. In fact, there are so many bottle gourds that probably your entire neighborhood is going to consume it. So that's a portable farming system. It's 10 feet long, 4 feet wide, 7 inches deep. As you can see, it has got its own drip irrigation system. So it's all plug and play. And it has been tested for various seasons under different agroclimatic conditions across more than 20 cities. So which includes heavy rainfall cities like the southern cities or Pune or Kolkata, and also includes those cities where the day temperatures are crossing 47 degrees, like Bikaner and Jodhpur. Those are the western cities. Those are the cities in Rajasthan, and we can grow up to 31 different seasonal vegetables in these portable farming system. I'll show you a chart in which we have shown what can be grown when. A big bonus of doing rooftop farming, bonding between generations. I love this picture. I always tell my clients, you need to fall in love with your plants, and the plants will right back fall in love with you. There has to be a relationship between you and your plants. Care and affection are the best fertilizers to grow abundant quantity of vegetables from your plants. Now you can put multiple numbers of portable farming system on your rooftop. As you can see, you can dig that soilless organic medium, this brown medium that you're seeing. It's very similar to the potting mix that I've talked about. The only difference is that this carries 13 more components, and it has been tried and tested for 7 years Another very important thing about this, the organic medium that we are using here, is that it becomes more fertile with time. That means you have a portable farm, you have a little farm sitting on your rooftop, which is actually becoming more fertile with the passage of time. And incidentally, the entire drip irrigation system can be automated in such a way that if you have elderly parents who cannot go to the rooftop every day, doesn't matter, the entire irrigation system is going to get switched on at a precise time of the day, and it's going to get switched off at another precise time of the day. That means even if you're not traveling to your rooftop on a daily basis, still your plants will continue to receive water. And that also measured quantity of water. Through this picture, all that I wanted to convey was the abundant growth. See the prolific growth. And this is all happening under 45 degrees centigrade on the rooftop. For those of you who would like to grow vegetables on the ground, we have some clients who have actually created a solid platform on the ground on which these kind of portable farming systems can be installed. And the net that you see, if you closely observe, each one of these portable farming systems are enclosed with a metal net. This is to ward away birds, monkeys, pets, and rodents like squirrels and rats. These kind of nets keep your vegetables absolutely safe. So happy vegetables, happy customers. Let me show you something very, very interesting. This is called our organic input kit. Now, why is it very special? If you may observe, it contains these 7 bottles. Each bottle has got the name of the day of a week. Now, what it simply means is that you have to spray the Monday spray on Monday, you have to spray the Tuesday spray on Tuesday, you have to spray the Wednesday spray on Wednesday. Why did we create this? There is a very interesting story behind it. The interesting story is that when we got started, we assumed that we would be able to educate our clients to such an extent that they would be able to identify the pests and diseases, and then we would be able to tell them what to buy from the market and use on their vegetables. Long process. So indirectly, our intention was to convert a customer into a PhD in agriculture. One fine day, I had a visit from a very eminent agriculture scientist, and I took him to many of my rooftop sites. And I just asked him that, sir, can you tell me what pests and diseases are affecting my vegetable plants? His answer shocked me. His answer was that it's impossible to determine all the pests and diseases that are affecting the vegetable plants, because visibly, just by standing in front of the plants, it's difficult to assess how many different kind of diseases, because the diseases could be in the root zone, they could be in the stem zone, they could be in the leaf zone. The pest could again be in the root, they could be in the stem, they could be inside the fruit. Now, when I heard that, I realized that this whole process of educating the customer and downloading a lot of agriculture knowledge on the customer is useless. The inspiration came from Chyawanprash. I'm sure most of you know what Chyawanprash is. We eat Chyawanprash every day without any specific intention of getting rid of any specific disease. We eat Chyawanprash with this assumption that by eating Chyawanprash, those diseases will not come to us. I got inspired by it, and hence I created this organic input kit in which we are applying these sprays just like we eat Chyawanprash every day. But ladies and gentlemen, these innocent little bottles contain a huge amount of agriculture science, organic farming science inside them. The Monday spray contains live bacteria called Bavaria bassiana, which acts as a skin fungus. The Wednesday spray contains a Vedic formulation called Dashaparni Ark, which has been created by rotting the leaves of 10 different herbs in cow urine for 45 days. The Friday spray contains vermi wash, which is the most rich source of plant growth hormones in nature. How do you get vermi wash? When there is anybody who's making vermicompost, he's applying a lot of water. The residue that comes out after applying water on the vermicompost beds is called vermi wash. The runoff is called vermi wash, but it is suffused with plant growth hormones. So this innocent looking kit has to be used on a daily basis. And what you get are three things: pest management, disease management, disease management, and growth promotion of your plants. We also have the ability to support our customers across the country 24/7 using various methods. So just to give you an example, if our customer sitting in Kolkata wants to put bottle gourd seeds in a portable farming system, he can merely refer to this chart on the left side. This sowing chart is for vegetables like pumpkin, bottle gourd, ridge gourd, and smooth gourd. And rather than verbally telling him that you have to put 8 seeds in a portable farming system, this is the way that we educate our clients pictographically. On the right side is the sowing chart for leafy vegetables, where the message that has to be conveyed is that you have to put the seeds of leafy vegetables in a straight line, in a continuous straight line on both sides of the drip lateral. Ladies and gentlemen, please observe that the plants are at a finite distance from the drip line. This is a very important observation. If you are using drip irrigation system, please make sure that your seed or sapling is at least 2 to 3 inches away from the drip line. Otherwise, they're going to die because of stem or root rot. So these kind of vegetable sowing charts have been created for every single vegetable. So if a customer says, I want to grow cauliflower, I will just send him the vegetable sowing chart for cauliflower. Now, this is a calendar which has 24 months instead of 12 months, because we have observed that the temperature profile changes from fortnight to fortnight. Now, in this chart, you will see three different colors. The brown color denotes the duration when you can do direct sowing by seed. The fluorescent green color shows the duration when you can put saplings of the same vegetable. And the dark green depicts the harvest time, the harvest period of that specific vegetable. What I'm trying to convey to you is that after 7 years of backbreaking effort and maintaining laser sharp focus on rooftop organic farming, this is the kind of knowledge that we have aggregated. You will not find this calendar in any agriculture book. We have very precise production figures for summer and rainy vegetables and for winter vegetables. The intention to show this slide once again is to just to let you know that these production figures are average achievable figures based on our 7 years of experience of rooftop organic farming. Little more about Living Greens. We are now in, this is slightly old, this is 6 months old slide. We are now in 20 cities. We have a highly experienced team of organic experts. Let me shock you, all my organic experts, none of them is an agriculture graduate. In fact, they don't have any education in agriculture. How have they learned? Backbreaking effort, season after season of disappointments and failures, but we have stuck to it. And today my organic experts are supporting, while sitting here in Jaipur, Rajasthan, my organic farming experts are supporting clients, as I said, all the way from Salem in Tamil Nadu to Dehradun in the north and Kolkata to Bikaner. And now, due to our alliances with eminent people like Major VP Sharma and his company called Gratitude Farms, we are now also able to offer on-site support to a lot of our customers in those cities where we have these alliances. It was a great day for us, March 18th of March 2018, when we got an opportunity to present our product to Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. In the company of very eminent people, we have the Jal Shakti Minister, Mr. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat there. We have the Agriculture Minister there. We have the Principal Secretary Agriculture there. The interesting thing is, after our presentation, Prime Minister Modi asked only one question: can this become a part of the smart city mission? One thing led to the other, and Bihar became the first state to offer 50% subsidy for rooftop farming in 1,300 houses. I'm proud to share with you that Living Greens was not only the project consultant, but today is the largest supplier of rooftop farming material to the government of Bihar for this project of 1,300 houses in the 5 smart cities of Bihar. Some rewards and recognitions that we are extremely proud of. With that, I come to the end of my presentation, and I shall now be happy to answer your questions. I shall first take a look at the chat box. I will now hand over the mic to Major VP Sharma sir. Sir, over to you.
Yeah. Can you please go to the next slide? No, keep sharing. Pratik. Yeah, go to my slide deck, please. Okay, next slide, please. Next. All right. So, Pratik, firstly, thank you so much for such an insightful description of what goes into growing plants on your rooftop. I think it is very, very clear with sufficient, you can say, support, and the solution that we are offering, it, like Pratik explained, has been developed through all the requirements, mistakes, and errors that we commit in the journey. And that is now brought to you as a plug and play, ready to use system. One of the questions that people ask, so what are the different types of portable farming system? Now, portable farming system, it requires considerable amount of effort on your part, which I'll come to in a little bit. We've categorized the products and solutions that we offer into 4 categories. You could be somebody who says, I'm new to rooftop farming. I never grew any plants, but I'm very interested and I have very little space. So for that, we recommend fruit trees in grow bags. They just require 3 feet by 3 feet. They are grow bags of 24 inches by 24 inches. They come completely ready with 3 to 4 feet of fruit plant, which should start fruiting in 6 to 8 months. They are actually developed in our own nursery. And so long as there is 4 to 6 hours of sunlight, limited space also can afford it. And most of them are dwarf and grafted varieties. So the fruiting levels are very high, yield is very high and good quality. And they're all pure organic. The second solution for all newcomers is to try out the portable farming system small, which is 5 feet by 2 feet. That is a total of 10 square feet. It can be put up in a balcony. It can be put up in a roof. You can use 1 unit, 2 units. And in just 1 minute, I'll explain the details of that. For those of you who have already got some experience of growing plants and are more serious about growing your own vegetables in your own rooftop or kitchen garden, we would recommend that you go in for fruit trees. Of course, they're equally applicable, but portable farming system large. This one is the one that Pratik has been explaining. You have been seeing the images. This 10 cross 4 feet, 40 square feet, and we'll cover its description in a minute. Now, many of you also, I have a lot of customers who come back to us, say, well, I've already got lots of pots. I've got a kind of a growing bed, etc. I don't want a portable farming system. So we have a whole range of home gardening products. all the things that Pratik mentioned, coco peat, vermicompost, nutrition elements, pest management, everything is available, seeds, saplings, etc. And last but not the least, we work quite extensively with schools and institutions. Schools and institutions are paying increasingly higher attention to the fact that children need to be educated more in environment and related topics. So we deploy these portable farming systems in the schools and conduct it as a knowledge dissemination program for the students. Next slide, please. So here is the description of fruit trees. We've currently got 9 varieties, and we are actually increasing these varieties. You can see that in the list: lemon, sweet lime, banana, papaya, guava, chiku, mango, and mango 4 or 5 different varieties, custard apple, and moringa. These are 2 to 3 months old plant saplings, 1 feet to 2.5 feet. Some of them are actually 3-4 feet high. The bag is ultraviolet protected, leak-proof HDPE, subsurface drainage, organic nutrients, and soilless medium. Each fruit tree is fully loaded with all the pot mix that you could need. You don't need to change the pot mix for 2 years. And it should start fruiting ranging from the type of plants from 6 months to 12 months and continues usually for 2 to 5 years. The price is $14.40 plus GST. Labor and transport is extra. And with that, we give 3 months supply of organic nutrients and pest management. And most important, we continue to give the knowledge support. We'll have fortnightly webinars with all our customers who take our products on various topics of rooftop organic farming. The idea is that you may start with fruit tree, but you'll graduate over time to more and more different types of organic solutions. And then we have the 24/7 support, online on-call support for any problems, troubleshooting, etc. Next slide, please. This is the depiction of the portable farming system. Small, as I mentioned, 5 feet by 2 feet. It's ideal for beginners. Compact in size, leak-proof HDPE container, UV protected, modular MS frame, a green net which allows for 50% of sunlight to go through, inline drip irrigation system, and subsurface drainage. You can grow 5 to 10 kgs of vegetables and greens in each season in this unit. And a very simple system of organic nutrients and pest management that Pratik explained, and the soilless medium, again, that was very elaborately explained by Pratik. So the price is 8,400 rupees plus GST. Labor and transport is on actuals. And what we give in this is, again, not just the portable farming system with all its soilless medium and drip irrigation, etc. Seed sapling for one season. We have a whole range of variety for the agroclimatic conditions of Tamil Nadu. There are 30 to 35 different types of plants, greens, and fruits that you can grow. You can choose, and we'll supply that. Organic input kit for 3 months, and the complementary services of initial training, knowledge support, online WhatsApp support, etc. And a handbook on organic farming. Next slide, please. Yes, 10 feet by 4 feet is the large portable farming system. All the features of what you saw in the small, except that in this case, we support the seeds and saplings for 1 full year, organic input kit for 1 full year, and also we have 3 free monthly visits by our experts to your home, and we will continue to provide all the complimentary services for 1 year. The price is 22,400 plus GST. Some of you will ask this question, 22,400. You have to remember this PFS system is a rugged one. It will last you for 6 to 7 years, if not more. And if in each PFS system you can grow 60 to 70 kgs of vegetable annually, the system will pay itself off more than adequately in just 2 to 3 years. And more than anything else, it is an experience. You are bringing nature into your home, and the enjoyment of pure organic vegetables from your rooftop to kitchen in 2 minutes is an experience which we would believe is priceless. Next. Now, this is an important aspect which I would like to share with all our attendees and who would like to go in for systems. You have a very major role to play as owner of the rooftop organic system. A lot of thinking, design, and effort has gone into bringing the system as a whole solution. We are committed to continuously provide knowledge on a generic basis, on a specific basis to solve your problems. Everything is possible. But at the end of the day, you should not treat PFS as a commodity. Plants are living beings. They need to be nurtured and tended to daily. And they will respond to you in the measure of your sincerity and love towards them. Believe me, when you see a plant growing slowly, it can actually transform your attitude to life. You must be very disciplined in handling this. This is a typical problem in urban behavior. When a thing comes new, the novelty and the newness, we are excited about it for a few weeks, maybe months. But after that, the rigorous discipline that is required to attend to this, it slightly fades away. And the result and the consequences immediately evident. Plants need care. And they only ask with this system, the drip irrigation is automated. You just need to spend 15 to 20 minutes every day, preferably early in the morning. And as one of my mentors who taught me organic farming always used to say, talk to the plants. We need to know how to talk to the plants. You'll be surprised over time how they respond to you. Water management, phytosanitation, hoeing, following the schedule of organic nutrients that we share with you, and most importantly, keep learning about it every single day. This is something which is absolutely necessary for sustainable, lifelong improvement, or rather good results in your systems. Next slide, please. So with this is the last slide I have. What we have tried to share with you is to give you the overall concept of what it takes to grow organic plants, greens, fruits in your own home and establish the connect with nature right in your home. When you take up urban organic farming, you can actually become part of this ever-growing community. It's like a movement that is already taking roots. It's early days, but more and more people are leaning towards it. Spend a little time away from your TV and mobile and spend that with your organic plants, and you will see the change yourself within the next few months. As we work together through the portable farming system, over a period of time, you will have so much knowledge that you can become the change leader of organic movement in your community. And my last statement, which is my favorite one, is the joy of tending a plant daily that grows slowly, but with a divine certitude has the power to transform the attitude to life for you. That's all we had to say. Now we'll open up for questions. I will request Ashwin to place the link of the feedback form. Kindly fill the feedback form. We'll be able to send you the recording of this presentation. And also, if you have any questions, what you want us to do, what you can mention in the feedback form, we'll reach out to you individually. I do see there are a few questions. I think we will take it up right now. Let me see if there are specific questions. Okay, there's a good one here. While water management was being explained, Nalina Shri has asked what to do if water is hard. Pratik, you may like to take that up.
Yes, sir. So when we are talking about urban organic farming, it is generally our assumption that we are using the potable water which we are receiving in our municipal supply. If the water is hard, it would be, I would require a little more information when you're saying water is hard. If you could share with me the TDS level or the pH level of your water. And since I do not have these two information, I would just give you some general tips. If you are measuring the TDS of your water and if it is more than 500, you would not be able to grow vegetables in it. If the pH is more than 8.5 or less than 6.5, you will not be able to grow vegetables in it. So please measure it and find out what is the TDS or the pH. And if the pH or the TDS is way beyond the normal, we'll have to do something about it, but I can take that offline.
Right. There are many questions which are very specific either to geography, city, and your past experience. We would request, now you can see the link of the feedback form. Kindly fill it up. Ask your questions in the feedback form, and we'll individually get back to you. Ashwin, can you just repost the feedback form, please? You can also reach out to the WhatsApp number of Living Greens that Pratik has just shared with you. And Pratik, if you can go to the next slide, the last slide. Yeah. For those of you who are in South India, particularly Chennai, Pondicherry, Thiruvannamalai, Salem, and nearby cities, you can reach out to the mobile number that we have shared. The recording will be shared with you. You've already got email from us. You can just reach out to us on email. Those of you who have not been able to fill the feedback form right now, we will also be mailing it to you. Let me just.
Sir, I see a question from Ms. Radhika Das.
Yes.
She has said, we have a terrace, but we are surrounded by huge trees, egrets, cranes, storks, and many seabirds roost on these trees. Obviously, they poop in huge quantities that fall all over the terrace. Is this harmful? I'm planning to start a terrace farm. The feces, the poop of birds is very high on phosphorus, which can burn the plant. So you will have to find a space where all of that bird poop is not getting collected on the plants. So yes, you will have to be careful about it.
So very well. We have noted all the questions that you have in the chat window. We'll be responding them to all of you. Also, like I mentioned, kindly fill the feedback form with your question. We'll be very happy to answer all of you. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation as much as we have while preparing it and by sharing it with you. And we hope that all of you will be very interested in taking up this journey of organic farming in your own individual lives. With that, we come to the conclusion of this particular session. Thank you so much for being with us on a Sunday. We appreciate your time, and please reach out to us for any further requirements. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you all.